Hello and Namaste. In continuation with the complex variables, we'll be going ahead with the analyticity of the function. So that means what we are going to check whether the given function is analytic or not. So and for this, examine the analyticity of sine hyperbolic z. And this is what I have displayed here. They are the CR equations, or you can say Cauchy-Riemann equations for this particular in Cartesian coordinates. Let me just go ahead with the W. That means what this is sine hyperbolic z. I need to check the analyticity of this particular function. So it's sine hyperbolic z, which can be written as this W is nothing but u plus iv, what we have seen already, and this sine hyperbolic z as minus of I times sine I z. That means this is the already we know the conversion, or you can say the relationship between the hyperbolic functions and the trigonometric functions. So this can be written as sine I theta is same as minus of sine hyperbolic theta. This is what we have written here, wherein the theta, the value of theta is nothing but z. Okay, so what this is minus I sine I z, which can be written as, so z we are aware of, the z is nothing but a complex number, so that can be replaced as x plus iy. Why am I doing that? I am doing that only because I want a relation between this sine hyperbolic, or otherwise I can say that this sine hyperbolic z I need to express in terms of the real part and the imaginary part in the Cartesian coordinates, of course. So you should be in terms of x and y. We should also be in terms of x and y. That is what we are doing it here. So this is nothing but minus of I sine ix minus y, because we have just taken this I inside. After that, this is nothing but sine of a minus b. So sine of a minus b will give me the expansion of sine of a into cos b minus cos b into cos of a into sine b. The same thing we have done it here. After doing that, again the same relation will be using it here. The same relation will use it here, which is minus I times sine hyperbolic x cos of y minus cos hyperbolic x into sine of y, which will give me sine hyperbolic x cos of y as plus I, because I'm taking this minus I inside this bracket. So this will give me plus I times cos hyperbolic x sine y. This will lead to us. So if you observe this LHS side, this is nothing but u plus iv and is equals to this particular function. That means if I'm comparing two complex numbers, I have to compare the real part and the imaginary part. Therefore, u is equals to sine hyperbolic x cos of y, and we are going to get it as cos hyperbolic x into sine of y. Let us go ahead, because we wanted to prove this. If this is getting proved both the things, so remember this is and, it's not or. That means I should have both of them equations satisfied by this u and v. So this is the u, this is the v. If we'll follow both the equations, both these equations, then we are through, and we can say that the function sine hyperbolic z is analytic function. So that is what we are doing it here. U is equals to sine hyperbolic x into cos of y dou u upon dou x. Now remember that u is a function of x and y. Whenever I am differentiating this level variables with the first level variable, so this is nothing but a second level variable. This is the first. These are the first level variable. So if I wanted to differentiate the first level variable with respect to second level variable, at that time if you observe, there are two variables. That means what, if I wanted to differentiate u with respect to x or u with respect to y, it has to be a partial differentiation. We can't go for a complete differentiation, or we can't write down du upon dx or du upon dy, because u is depending on two variables, right? And that is why it's dou u upon dou x is equals to cos hyperbolic x into cos y. The rule of partial differentiation says that if I am differentiating u with respect to x, at that time my y will remain constant, and that is why this cos of y will be as it is. That means what, in short, I have to treat this cos of y as some constant. So constant into sine hyperbolic x, which is a function of x, can be differentiated as cos hyperbolic x into cos of y. The further term, or that u by v rule, will not be getting applicable here, because we don't have the other variable in terms of x, or other function in terms of x. So simultaneously, if I am differentiating dou v upon dou y, that means again the same thing. V is, as the case that of with u, the same case is there with v. V is a function of x and y both, and that is the reason partial differentiation will exist over here. So dou v upon dou y will give me, at that time, at this differentiation, I have to keep this x constant. So cos hyperbolic x is the term which is a constant term we have to consider. We have to differentiate only sine y with respect to y. That will give me cos of y. And therefore, if you observe dou u upon dou x, which is this, which is exactly same as dou v upon dou y. That means what we have get through with the first condition. Let us see what will happen with the second one. So dou u upon dou y, I have to keep x term constant. That means I have to keep sine hyperbolic x as constant and differentiate just cos of y. Differentiation of cos of y with respect to y will give me minus of sine y, and therefore it is minus sine hyperbolic x sine y. Similarly, this dou v upon dou x is equals to sine hyperbolic x into sine y, because I have to keep this sine y constant while differentiating v with respect to x, and this is what the differentiation of cos hyperbolic x with respect to x is, sine hyperbolic x. Therefore CR equations are satisfied because I have got my second equation also complete, and therefore these two equations are getting satisfied simultaneously, and hence sine hyperbolic z is an analytic function. Let us move ahead with z cube is analytic everywhere. We have to prove that. Again the same thing, f of z is z cube, but I have to express that z cube in terms of x and y. This is the expansion, x plus iy the whole cube is nothing but the expansion will move like this. Either you can go for the binomial expansion or just a formula of a plus b the cube formula. So a cube plus b cube plus 3 times a square b plus 3 times a b square will give me this. If I simplify further, it will give me x cube minus 3xy square plus I times 3x square y minus y cube. Just we are collecting the terms of the real terms and the imaginary terms over here, and therefore u is equals to x cube minus 3xy square. U is x cube minus 3xy square and v is 3x square y minus y cube. Similarly, the same thing what we are doing it, it's a very simple function. So I don't think so there is any need for me to explain you this differentiation. It's a very simple thing. What is the rule of partial differentiation? I have already explained you in the previous slide. Whenever you are differentiating u with respect to x, I need to keep y constant. So therefore it is 3x square minus 3y square as a differentiation. Then v with respect to y will give me 3x square minus 3y square. That is the first equation is getting satisfied over here. We are moving for the second one, that is dou u upon dou y, which is minus 6xy, and dou v upon dou x is 6xy. That means they are the opposite in sign, and that is what dou v upon dou y, dou u upon dou y is minus of dou v upon dou x, and therefore this both of them are getting satisfied and CR equation is satisfied, and therefore z cube is an analytic function everywhere. Okay, let me just go ahead with this is quickly we'll just move ahead because nothing is there actually. It's a z mod of z, and I'm providing this for you just to have a very good understanding of this particular analytic function, how to check this. Now we have to check that, we have to show that this is not analytic. So what will happen at that time? I just wanted to show you that as well. So u plus iv is x plus iy because z, and mod of z we know that it's a square root of x square plus y square, and therefore it is x into square root of x square plus y square. We are just multiplying each and everything with the function over here. So u is equals to x into square root of x square plus y square, v is y into square root of x square plus y square. Then we are differentiating u with respect to x. Yeah, let me just explain you here because it's a little different than what we have discussed last time. So dou u upon dou x, I need to do it with u into v rule, because if you observe I have got two functions over here, product of two functions, which is x and square root of x square plus y square. Both the function contains x, and therefore this x square root of x square plus y square into differentiation of x is, which is 1, plus x as it is into differentiation of this square root sign, which will give me 1 upon 2 into square root y square into 2x, and therefore after simplification of this further function we'll be going ahead with we will get it 2x square plus y square upon square root of x square plus y square. Similarly, the same thing will happen here because it's a differentiation of v with respect to y will give me 1 and 2 function. Again, the same thing will happen if you'll observe. Both the terms are almost similar if you'll observe here, because it's a square root of x square plus y square. Differentiation of y is 1 plus y as it is into differentiation of this square root of sine. Now this you can write down as y into x square plus y square the power plus half, and then you can do it the differentiation here. So what will be that? Let me just explain you the second term, whatever the second term we have done it here. Oh, but I think I need that place. Just a minute. Let me take that entire function here because I wanted to display something over here. Okay, so if I have this y into square root of x square, so this can be written as y into x square plus y square to the power half, which is I'm differentiating now this term. I'm just showing you with this particular term over here how this has come. So this is equals to y into x square into 1 by 2 x square plus y square to the power 1 by 2 minus 1, right, into differentiation of this x square plus y square with respect to y will give me 2y. And therefore, if you'll observe, this entire term is same as this what I have written it here. The same thing is with x, and therefore we have got it this as the term. And so if you'll observe, this 2x square plus y square upon this, and this is x square plus 2y square upon this. So that means what? My first term is not equal. So dou u upon dou x is not equal to dou v upon dou y. Let me check with the other what will happen. So dou u upon dou x will give me x into 1 upon 2 into square root of, because if you'll observe, we don't have the other, we have both of them are x terms. That means what? There will not be any u into v rule will applicable here. So that means I have to consider this x as a constant, and we have to just differentiate x square plus y square to the power 1 by 2 as I have shown to you here, and therefore it is giving me dou u upon dou y as x into 1 upon 2 times square root of x square plus y square into 2y. So 2y will go off from here and remain here with the answer xy upon square root of x square plus y square, which again if you observe, dou v upon dou x is y into this, which will give me xy upon square root of x square plus y square. If you observe, they should be opposite in sign, but they are not, they are equal, and that means what? This condition is not getting satisfied. So dou u upon dou y should be equals to minus of dou v upon dou x, wherein I am getting it they are equal. So that means what? This condition is not getting satisfied. So this is not getting satisfied, this is also not getting satisfied. Just a minute. These two conditions, this is not getting satisfied, this is also not getting satisfied, and therefore not satisfied, and hence z into mod of z is analytic everywhere. Is actually, it has to be not analytic everywhere. Okay, because we have shown that it is the CR equations are not getting satisfied, and therefore it is not analytic everywhere. I hope you must have understood this type of examples wherein we have to find out, or we have to check whether the functions are analytic or not. And that's all. Thank you. Happy learning.